Shortly after I posted my update about Texas State heading to the Pac-12, ESPN's Pete Thamel updated his update about Texas State inevitably joining the Pac-12. It's a Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. I almost said Locked On Pac-12. All right, I really wasn't going to do an episode for a Thursday. Was just going to wait, but at first I thought, well, honestly, this is what I thought. We'll get to Coastal Carolina opening an indoor facility. That's bigger than you think, and we'll do some early 2025 odds. All right. I really don't think Thamel updated us with anything. I just think he did basically the same thing I did, which was kind of recap where we are. And I'm not sure anything has happened really since last Sunday, or even 2 Sundays ago. All right. So let's just read what he wrote. This was 4:01 p.m. Eastern time. He tweeted something out and then he posted a story, but I was at work and my phone was blown up. Texas State officials have informed the Sun Belt Conference that they are expecting an offer from the Pac-12 in the near future, sources told ESPN. Didn't we already know that? We sort of already knew that. The talks between Texas State and the Pac-12 have intensified in the last 24 hours per ESPN sources, although a formal offer from the Pac-12 to Texas State has yet to be delivered. Nothing's changed. A formal offer is anticipated in the near future, per sources, as Texas State is in talks to join the league for the 26-27 school year. It'll be the next step in the courtship, which may not formally conclude until Monday because of the process required. To formally accept an offer upon receipt, Texas State would need to call a Board of Regents meeting, which requires a 72-hour notice to convene per state of Texas meeting laws. Now I got to do math. All right. Pac-12 officials have also alerted the Sun Belt of the talks with Texas State. Per sources, Texas State has been a heavy favorite to join the league for months. Here it is. The anticipation has increased this week because Texas State's excess fee to join the Pac-12 for the 2026 season doubles from $5 to $10 million July 1st. For formal board approval and to avoid the buyout, Texas State's invitation would have to come late this week. Texas State would become the league's 8th football member, with the Pac-12 needs as a minimum to operate as an FBS conference. There'd be a 9th overall, including Gonzaga, which I don't believe has a football program. All right, so now we got to count backwards. Obviously, 72 hours is 3 days. All right, so 3 days is, if we're saying Monday is 1, Sunday is 2. So they have to have this done by either Thursday or Friday. They got to call it out because they can have Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. Well, you have to have 72 hours. Let's read that again. I want to make sure we understand this. Which requires 72 hours of notice to convene. So I'm going to guess that means they really have to call this by Friday so they can convene by Sunday and have it done by Monday, which is all a formality. Okay, let's just be honest. This is all done. So this kind of goes along the lines of, if you watch this podcast, I always ask the coaches when they like to have the quarterback named. Not when I necessarily get to know it, although I do like to know. And when I can pass it along to whatever fan base needs to know. But when they want to know. All right. And generally speaking, in that case, not to go off on the side note, the team knows. But when do they want to do it? Like, if they haven't named one yet, does it take a week? Is it a wide open competition? Generally speaking, it's no later than, 2 weeks before the season, because they want to rally around and they want a week as the number one guy before game week. All right. Sometimes we have competition. Coaches say, when you're going to find out? when the guy comes out of the tunnel for a kickoff. But just the point is, when we find out is different than when everybody else finds out, usually. And so the CBS sports contract is really the only thing that has changed, right? As far as I know, because I haven't had any news to report. That doesn't mean nothing has happened. I'm just telling you, I don't have any new news to report because all this stuff happened last week, right? Thamel's report happened 10 days ago Sunday. Then we had the ECU news. Then we had the La Tech news. And nothing has really happened since. And it just felt like Thamel's report was basically the same thing I said. I'm like, what's taking so long? He's like, it's coming in the near future, which is also what I said because the deadline was the 30th. I didn't know about the 72-hour notice. It is what it is. So that's where we are. I will say I am sad to see Texas State go. I think that's a great school for the Sun Belt. It's good to have a Texas school in there. They are, a ton of Texas kids go to the Cajuns. All right. It is obviously a breeding ground for football players and all kinds of athletes. And now they finally got good at football, and now they're leaving. And someone threw up a potential schedule, although included Memphis. That looks like a formidable schedule. All right. They have a tough time. They're competing well in the Sun Belt. That would take a step back. I didn't realize how good Fresno State is. I thought they had taken a step back. They have not. They really good. It was either last year or 2 years ago. They were like 8-1, and their quarterback got hurt. They had like a 10-win season in there. I went and checked. They're pretty good. Colorado State, Utah State, but everyone else is pretty good. So, yeah, you still can't beat the Cajuns. Should have beaten them last year, but still can't beat the Cajuns. They still have tough time kind of living up to expectations. They've had 2 really good years. And in some cases, they are. All right. They are, Boise State was in the playoff last year. Good luck. Good luck. All right. No, I don't know if bitter is not the right word. If Texas State wants to go join the Pac-12, that does not affect my life one way or another. Can't have GJ Kinney on. He's great, comes on the show, and I will wish him luck. Hopefully we'll have him on one more time before the season starts. But it is disappointing because I think Texas State is good for the Sun Belt. Now, who they get to replace them, I will also say I don't think will be as good for the Sun Belt. We'll see. We'll see what they have. Someone said they're looking forward to seeing what Keith Gill says at Sun Belt Media Days. We better know way before that what the Sun Belt is doing. I also have someone telling me they think they should be a wait and see how everything else plays out. You can do that a little bit, but you better have a chair when the music stops playing. You better have a seat at the table when the music stops playing. So it does appear Texas State is going to be heading to the Pac-12. We will see once that domino falls what the other dominoes are. It would appear based on that 72-hour notice, we're going to hear either something Thursday or Friday. We shall see. I'm off Friday, so we'll be able to do something almost immediately. And I only have 2 tours on Thursday, so maybe I'll scoot outside and be able to do a quick video if I get some news. All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back as if Coastal Carolina isn't having good enough news with the baseball program, going all the way to the national championship in baseball. They're opening up an indoor facility. That's not a little deal. All right. We'll talk about that when we come back. Let me tell you a little bit about Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building your wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. All right, so Coastal Carolina builds a indoor facility, and that's not a little deal. I got to Lafayette in 2013. They had an indoor facility. You know who didn't have an indoor facility in 2013? The University of Florida. Can you imagine that? In 2013. You know who didn't have an indoor facility until just the last couple of years? Miami. And when Miami, a couple things about Miami. Obviously, space in Coral Gables, if you don't know, is pricey, and the campus is tight to begin with. There's not a lot of space in Coral Gables. When they first built it, it wasn't 100 yards. They finished it, but they had to keep on going. Like about 75 yards. Now they have finished it. So think about that. Florida, I don't know when the Cajuns finished their indoor facility, but it was there when I got there in 2013. I'm not talking about their athletic facilities. I'm talking about their indoor facility. They have a place to play a outside or inside when it rains, thunderstorms. Also, if they need to get out of the sun. All right. South Alabama, same thing. I call that an indoor facility. Not quite enclosed, but it's covered. And they use that once in a while to get out of the sun. Although, I know Kennewick, they coached outside all the time. Those are big things. And it's a good thing. It just, first of all, it's an investment in the football program, but it's also investment in other things. All right. I know for the Cajuns, softball uses it. Probably baseball uses it. Different people use it for different things when football isn't in there. So it's not just, you can use it for events. They had a signing day for the Cajuns. You can use an indoor facility for much more than just practice. And that's a huge deal for Coastal Carolina. I'm sure they have the same thing. I know they're right on the coast, but they have the same thing. Late July, early August, all kinds of rain. And then spring football, maybe all kinds of rain. And you don't want to get kids hurt. Sometimes you want to practice out in the rain just to, you got to be able to practice. You got to be able to play when it rains. So the only way you can play when it rains, you got to practice when it rains. But if that's not the day you're going to do it, you want to be able to get what you need to get done inside. And that's a big deal. And so congratulations to Coastal Carolina. I mean, Michael Benson and moving out, president of the schools. I think he's going to West Virginia. Something like that. But they got that built. And that's a big deal. That's not a little deal. I'm more than shocked that places like Florida and Miami didn't have those things. Florida's excuse was, we are winning all those championships with Spurrier and probably Tebow without it. Why do we need one? Oops. They have one now. Florida's got one now. Miami's got one. Cajuns have one. I'm sure others have one as well. But it's a big deal for Coastal Carolina. And it just shows, not only does it show your recruits, but it shows all of your donors. We're investing in the athletic program, right? And basically, it's like, usually these are like tin buildings with, uprights and turf. They could be heated, they could be air conditioned. I'm not sure. These are not well insulated facilities, right? But you're supposed to be using them to get out of the weather, right? Whether you just need a day off from the scorching heat in August or the rain or whatever the case may be. These are not necessarily, the palace that a new stadium is. This is an indoor facility. So it's a big deal for Coastal Carolina. They have, under Tim Beck, they have not been able to reach the heights that they had under Jamie Chadwell and Grayson McCall. Grayson McCall now on staff. So let's see what they can do. They want to build with this, see if they can get the quarterback, same quarterback for 2 years in a row. That's a big deal. And see if they can end up doing that. They have not done that over the last couple of years. It seems it's a lot of turnover. Tim Beck basically coming in when, NIL and transfer portal started. So I think he said, we've been doing this one way my whole career, and I don't have really anybody who I can talk to go, how about doing it now? Because everyone's trying to figure it out. But that's a big deal. And now you can always tell kids that you're recruiting what we got coming down the pike and show video of it. It's much easier when you got kids coming to the campus and showing them what we got. So that's a big deal. I think that's a big deal. And I do want to congratulate Coastal Carolina on having that indoor facility completed. All right. Well, let's take a time out. We'll wrap things up. Early 25 odds. And again, I don't understand what's going on with Arkansas State. Could just be me. I don't understand it. All right. Let me tell you a little bit about Rouge It Ready. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rouge It Ready. Rouge It Ready is the next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rouge It's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in just 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours. So you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, Rouge It might be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. I love that it's completely online. Rouge It connects you with a board-certified doctor and ships your treatment discreetly to your door. You can even read real customer reviews on their site. It's helping a lot of people feel more confident and present in the moment. Head to rougeit.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege and use promo code LockedOnCollege for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rouge It website for full safety information. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. All right, so quick odds for the Sunbelt for 2025, and James Madison is your overall Sunbelt Conference Championship odds leader, plus 330. All right. And I think I'm always going to get this guy's name wrong because I see it in my head wrong. It's Matt Sluka, right? Yes. Okay. Matt Sluka is the quarterback. All right. He's the kid from UNLV that bailed on the team because of NIL. Sorry, that's the way I know him. Mostly because Syracuse was playing him. But he played for Bob Chesney at Holy Cross. That's the other way we know him. All right. And so they are, for some reason, head and shoulders above the rest of the conference. I did not realize why that is the case. But I don't know if that should be the case. That is the case. All right. Texas State is plus 600. I don't know why that's the case either. All right. I don't know who their quarterback is. At least we think we know who James Madison's quarterback is going to be. We don't know who Texas State's quarterback is going to be. They have an up-and-coming, he's not going to be a redshirt freshman now, I don't believe. I think he's going to be a redshirt sophomore. But they have a couple of veteran guys that have plenty of experience. Are they going to get it? Then you got South Alabama. It's plus 700. South Alabama. All right. Their quarterback is playing for Bill Belichick in Carolina. All right. I am shocked. Maybe they haven't caught up. Then you get Georgia Southern, along with the Cajuns are plus 700. All right. They like Walker Howard a lot. And again, same quarterback, same coach, Georgia Southern back for a second year. All right. Old Dominion. I'm a big Old Dominion fan this year. Again, same coach, same quarterback. Troy is plus 13. That's interesting. They started coming around last year. We'll see if that quarterback stays healthy. App State, new coach, whole new deal, plus 1,500. Coastal Carolina, plus 1,700. This is where I am flabbergasted. Arkansas State is plus 2,300. I'm going to put a little bit on that. I don't get it. Jalen Rayner is in his third year, and he's a dynamic quarterback. They went to a bowl game 2 years ago. They won a bowl game last year. There certainly should be better than South Alabama, but I did reach out to Phil Steele. He's enjoying a little time off following the publication of his magazine, and we will hopefully have him on in the upcoming weeks or so. I was going to try to do it the week of my vacation, but hopefully the week after. Something's not quite right. All right. And then at the bottom, you do have Southern Miss plus 2,400, Marshall plus 2,400, which is interesting. Monroe plus 29 and Georgia State plus 5,000. All right. Now we're going to go and do win totals. All right. App State is 5.5. Arkansas State is also 5.5. Taking the over, baby. I love the over. And the over is the underdog. The over is plus 156. They are almost 2-1 under is minus 194. I mean, something's not right with Arkansas State. I'm not sure what it is. Coastal Carolina's 5.5 wins. Georgia Southern 7.5 wins. Georgia State 3.5 wins. I may take the over on that. All right. JMU 8.5 wins. Cajuns 7.5 wins. Marshall 5.5 wins. ODU 5.5 wins. South Alabama 6.5 wins. Southern Miss 4.5 wins. I'm going to see if I can find a fifth win for Southern Miss, because I think Southern Miss is going to be better than people think, although they are favored minus 170 over 4.5 wins. Texas State over 7.5 wins. Troy 5.5 wins, and Monroe is 4.5 wins. All right. So I love Arkansas State. I'm trying to figure out, unless I missed something. I don't know what I missed. Again, I was really off a couple years ago when South Alabama was not nearly as good as they should have been. I'm trying to figure out what I am missing with Arkansas State. Maybe the defense disappeared, so I gotta figure that out before we put any money on it. I don't get it. Cajuns lost some talent off a 10-win team. They seem to have a quarterback back. Running backfield should be fine. They always have some guys. They have some wide receivers. They should be fine. They lost some guys in the portal, but they should be fine. I don't know if they are going to be 10-win fine, but the Cajuns will probably, that 7.5 is exactly where they should be, because they're probably going to win 8 or 9 ball games. All right. If they're really good, they'll win 9 ball games. If they're not, or injuries, they'll probably win 7. They'll be fine. And then you got I think Southern Miss is going to be better than people think. Again, I am so looking forward to that first game of the season. I think Southern Miss is going to, shock Mississippi State. I don't think Mississippi State's very good at all. Again, Jeff Levy's going to be in the hot seat. It is like plus 13. Let's see if it's even changed. Because it's gone up. Personally, it has gone up since I've watched it a couple of times. It was plus 13 and then like plus 400 on the money line. They already have the games out for the first weekend of the year. My Orange are a plus 12.5 underdog against Tennessee. That game is in Atlanta. That's on the 29th. On the 30th, Mississippi State, Southern Miss now back down to 12.5. Southern Miss is a plus 360. So that's gone down a little bit. Mississippi State minus 480 favorite. So again, ridiculous. I could be the only one hyping that game, but it is strange that I'm hyping a game that last year the two teams combined for 3 wins. I'm probably hyping that game more because it's in Hattiesburg, and it's a much bigger deal that game is in Hattiesburg than if it was in Stark Vegas. I'm not sure I would care as much if it was in Stark Vegas, because then I would figure Mississippi State would win. It's just the Sun Belt coming into Starkville. No big deal. The SEC coming into Hattiesburg is a big deal. That is a big deal. Again, it's 11 a.m. It's going to be warm. I'm not going to complain too much about, if people start leaving at 12:30 because they're passing out. I'm sure there'll be a packed house at 11, but we may not see people come back from halftime, right? It always seems, well, where is everybody at halftime? Well, they're still at the bathroom or they're grabbing drinks. They may not come back because it's just too hot. I just can't criticize people for being protective when it's too hot out. That's a big difference between kicking off at 11 a.m. and sitting in the heat compared to kicking off at 7 p.m. Also, the difference when the Cajuns are going to do it, the Cajun fans are all going to be lathered up pretty good. All right. So that's also a thing. They'll be out it's not like they won't be out in the heat all day either. Tailgating. So those are the odds. I got to find out. I'll pick up my Phil Steele. Maybe I could pick it up before I go home. Read it on the plane ride home. Although my plane ride's at like 7 a.m. I'm going to fly in from here to Chicago, back to Syracuse. I guarantee you I will pass out from here to Chicago. Can't imagine that plane ride is more than 45 minutes. I'm going to hit that seat, pass right out, and when we land, although I have upgraded to first class so I can get a little bourbon really quick, first thing in the morning. Would you like anything to drink, Mr. Schultz? Oh, yes, I would. Make it a double. No. All right. Thank you so much. We will try to update when we do hear news. And again, we should hear news. We will have another episode on Friday. I will take the weekend off. If we do have some news to pass along, I will have an episode to pass along. Otherwise, we will have an episode on Monday, and we will do it from, I don't know where we're going to do it from. I got to do it from, I was scheduled to do something. I may have to just do it when I come home. I got plans. I'm coming home. I'm going to go see a friend. I got to figure out when I'm going to do it for Monday. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. We will keep you updated on Texas State joining the Pac-12 and who is going to join the Sun Belt. I'm looking forward to that news as much as you guys are. Thank you very much for tuning in. You've been watching Lockdown Sun Belt, your teams every day. Have a great Thursday, everybody. We'll talk to you again on Friday.